Hey guys, Rexhard here with another Awakened Chaos Era video. Today I'm going to show you synergies. I have done this on my spreadsheet, which will be in the description below if you are wondering. It is in the synergies tab here. So this is a new improved one compared to the old one. I just updated this not too long ago. So basically what we're going to do is just run through a couple of these. I do have a little bit of reasons behind them. So for example, we have Lydia here pairing up with a Berzak and Bran. The reason why, I do have a reason for most of these champions, so just be aware of that. So if you are curious why, there is a little reason and a little other suggestions. So we're not going to go through the reasons, we're just going to go through the champions that I have synergies with. So we're using Euron with Mognar and Yolanda, Gubeg and Nicholas with Windrex. Then Hector does not have any, sadly. He could probably pair up with some other champions like Jacob and joint attack champions, etc, but obviously they're very niche content. Crazy Zerg would do really well with any joint attack team, so Marion Shadow, Blood, Scarlet, Jacob, etc. I can't name them all, that is why we have them over here. So if you are curious about that, then we have Corrupt Auroch, which pairs really well with Hakron's buff. Then we got Valeria with Zatlux and Zachary for the increased damage output. Dark Nicholas to increase the A1 ability when he does go below 50%, and the counter attacks and stuff that he does. Williams is such a great champion. And then obviously Nicholas with his new buff now, he can buff Dark Nicholas's attack power. And then Nicholas with the Gubeg and Melisa. Melisa can become quite fast. She is honestly probably one of the fastest champions you get. She can easily hit 300 plus speed with her trait. The way they changed her trait is huge. Evelyn Firstdawn doesn't really have any. She's a really good support. She can go basically in any single team. Then we got Sierra there with a Urzag and Barak. Basically for increased damage and bonus attacks below 50%. So she would even work really well with Borden and as well. Abaddon works with William purely because of the counter attack buff that he can do. Abaddon will apply more poisons, or not poisons, debuff, sorry. And then Ganglo, Santis, and Ginjar obviously for poison detonator team. Balbareth would pair really well with Mythesia because she can revive him. Even if he does die, she can revive him. And then Yolanda here with the A3 for that shield, the massive shield that she applies on the lost health. Cyrus here for the Mary with the invincible, and Abbott for the heals and stuff, and the bonus turns as well, making her she's very strong, especially with the self immunity that she applies with everyone. Bran with Nathalia for the pure buffs for Nathalia to pop off a little bit more. Tia with Molligo. You could probably even put we could put Myla here. Let's just add that real quick. I didn't even think about Myla. Myla is one of the champions you would pair really well with. The reason why you would pair her up with Myla and Molligo is just purely because Molligo does joint attacks on frozen attacks, and Myla does freezes based on the amount of negative effects that they apply, so that could be a very strong freezing team. Now Yolanda works extraordinarily well with Dark Nick or Light Nick, both of them. If you have both, congratulations with a Yolanda. Unstoppable team. Basically what happens is when they drop down to 1% health, they become invincible, or death immunity, or whatever they want to be called. Then you apply Yolanda's buff for the amount of shield that they've lost on health, and that just becomes a little bit broken, you know. And then obviously if you pair them up with Mythesia, and if they do get procced and die, you know, you just revive them and you're good to go. Now Imogen here, fantastic champion. She does so much counter attacks and joint attacks to your team, so she would pair extraordinarily well with any team that does joint attacks, or just in general a lot of attacks. Yeah. That's basically it for her. Marion Shadowblood and Freya, you know, you could do it with so many other ones. Eva has none. She's basically a nuker. Zitlin here would pair with Windrex to reset his curse proc. Same with Savannah here. Pretty simple with those ones. Molhex, I did have any joint attack teams Molhex would work well with because of his kit. Hydricia has none. She's just a great champion with the new buff. And then Brilliant Brand also has none. I guess you could pair him up with Windrex to reset his ultimate and stuff and so on. Garrel here, very good champion. Pairs really well with William and Hakron. William with the counter attacks, he can proc double counter attack when attacked. And Hakron will increase his health, so when he's in that Azura state, he will do increased damage. And then Godfrey obviously doesn't really have any. William works really well with Gubeg, and Jacob for the bonus turns and the procs to make sure he hits that rage quite easily. Thomas, well, he should probably have none as well because he's a viable champion, but that is what it is. Thomas works really well with Berserk and Kayn to negate some of the damage that Thomas may get, and he does counter attacks based on allies getting attacked. So any strong tanky teams Thomas could work beneficial with. Idicris here is a glass cannon, does quite a amount of sustainability, pairs really well with William. Jacob pairs really well with William as well, and CC. CC can attach to Jacob and he can proc 7 turns when he goes into full madness. Quite a lot of turns with CC joint attack with him, and if you build CC and pure attack, could be a nasty little team there. Mogda works really well with Tarzago, and Mary would work with any champion that can place a stun with his A3 ability. This is how I recall. Now this may be a little bit wrong because I remember they changed Mogna, so be aware that this may be incorrect now. But yeah, Berserk would pair really well with Blackhorn and Dark Nicholas for that damaging negation that Berserk would take, and the AoE taunt. Urzag would pair really well with Sierra or Barak for the bonus attack below 50%, and also Borden. You guys get the idea. Aurochs pairs really well with no one really. He's a very strong nuker. If you see my video the other day with the most broken set, you will understand putting a assassin set on this champion could do some amazing stuff. Hugh here works with Joseph for the increased speed passive ability. Vance has none. Kyle also has none. Could probably work with a William or whatnot. Scarlet works very well with Helma and Vauk. And then Marion Shadowblood works really well with Jacob and Scarlet and stuff for all those joint attack damages that you could apply. Santis, Gajar and Ganglo obviously poison detonate. Andre works really well with William because William does a trait ability that does increase damage on the A1, and Andre is known for his hard hitting A1. Helma, Scarlet and Bayou for a poison, a bleed detonate team, I believe. Very strong. Glass Cannon would be Scarlet and Valk if you build them as pure damage dealers, because bleed does damage based on the attack percentage there. Kayn has none. Onodil would work out on any damage team or joint attack teams as long as they crit, because he will team up with them. Antonua pairs extraordinarily well with William because of his trait, and making sure Antonua is in on a curse set is huge. Luna Melisa has none. Then Melisa would work really well with Dark Nick, just for the amount of damage, because Nick will always go first now that they fixed him. So Melisa can go like 300 plus speed, right? So Nick should go before her of doing that ultimate, increasing her amount of damage that she can apply. Virgil doesn't really have any. Windrex obvious is in a lot of teams, so she has none that she can pair up with. Celestial Kayn also has none. Then Ricard pairs really well with Hakron because of the increased health that he does with his ultimate. Azrina does really well with the counter attacks to remove negative effects, etc. Hassel. Then you got Hakron with Blackhorn for strong survivability teams, as you probably do use those two combos quite a lot in almost all content of the game. Well, that's what I do anyway. Milo would work really well with Freya, Abaddon, anyone that applies any negative effects, since she does freezes on based on the amount of negative effects on people. Nathalia works really well with William and Brand, just because they apply buffs and Nathalia loves being buffed, Harbeg has done, very underrated champion, kinda lame. Borden pairs really well with Sierra and Urzag for the amount of bonus attacks and increased damage and the passive ability there. Jonathan works really well with Abbott and Rodria for the heal sustainability, the silence that he does, and he heals himself with these traits. Very nice champion, would work really good in a revival set. Gajar is obviously Poison Detonator, not going to go into it. Lightwing Zachary. For the speed that Windrex does and the reset on ultimate will make him quite slap, especially now that he's an A2 Ascended, very strong champion. Compare him up with a Mary, Celestial Kane, anyone that can help him do more damage is great. Bonus turn would pair with Abbott too, he does a bonus turn, even Evelyn first turn would be huge for the bonus turn for him to provoke more attacks on him. Azrina works really well with Hassel for a Ignite team. Not very many champions that do Ignite. Hassel does provide a little bit of heals and sustainabilities on the champions. Oki Yukibuki, I know I butchered the name, but it is what it is. Oki Yukibuki has none. Zatlux pairs really well with Zachary for the the damage decrease, and Sierra with the passive. Obviously Borden as well. Silent has none, she's a very good support champion. Connor has none. Then Charles works really well with Mythesia, and Hakron, obviously. Hakron for the increased defense and survivability from Mythesia. Dulab has none. Celine has none. Vida works well with Lydia because he does apply a dodge and a target to himself that could work really well in Lydia's favor. Barak works well with Sierra and Urzag for the increased damage. As you know, he does do a attack based on the if the enemies are below 50% health. Raven would work really well with Abaddon, Hulans, anyone that does debuffs, etc. Because of her A3 ability here, she can hit quite hard with that A3 ability with the amount of negative effects on the champion. So be aware of that. Hulans, same team, same type of system there. Then we go to CC. CC pairs with Jacob and William. She can become a possess Jacob, so every time he does a turn. Even Mary and Shadowblood she could work with, you know, a very good champion. William pulls champions in, so that will increase his A1 ability and so on. Malago would pair really well with Tia and obviously Myla. I'll fix that up as I mentioned previously. Zachary with Zatlux, Joseph with Gubeg, Bark with Scarlet and Helma, and that's basically it, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.